brand new reporting that was just posted by people says that Donald Trump said that he does not know if he has to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Hello, stupid. You're the President of the United States. That's your main job to do, is to uphold the Constitution of the United States and faithfully execute. But no, you wouldn't know that because you didn't place your hand on the Bible at all during your swearing-in ceremony. Correction, your illegal swearing-in ceremony. Let's get into today's reporting and break it all down in today's video. Today's reporting article, ladies and gentlemen, is titled Donald Trump says, quote, "I don't know," unquote, when asked if it's his job to uphold the Constitution as president. Trump sat down for another interview about his first 100 days in office with Meet the Press. And ladies and gentlemen, the article reads, Donald Trump said, "I don't know," when he was asked if it is his job to uphold the U.S. Constitution as the president during a new interview as he reflected on his first 100 days in office for his second term. The president, 78, sat down with NBC News' Kristen Welker for an exclusive interview that aired on the Sunday, May 4 episode of Meet the Press. At one point, Welker, 48, and Trump discussed due process, the fairness in legal proceedings, with the journalist asking the politician if he agreed that, quote, citizens and non-citizens, unquote, in the United States deserved such. Trump said this, quote, "I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know," unquote, Trump responded, prompting Welker to push back, quote, "Well, the Fifth Amendment says as much," unquote. Quote, as Trump continued, quote, "I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials," unquote. He then added, quote, "We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers, and some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth, and I was elected to get them the hell out of here. And the courts are holding me from doing it. Before we continue with the article, ladies and gentlemen, in the legal breaking news reporting, firstly, no, the courts are not holding Donald Trump from executing his duties. Now, since most of them are unconstitutional duties, then yes, they are, and they have every right to, despite what the fat, bigoted idiot Mike Johnson says, who's the unfortunate current illegal, uneducated Speaker of the House. Continuing with the article. When pressed further by Walker, who asked, quote, but even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president? Unquote. Trump stated, quote, I don't know. That is where Trump is deranged and really, really severely has dementia, I suspect, because he should have known when he started running for president the first time that his job was to faithfully execute and uphold the Constitution. Quote, I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation, unquote, he added. Never miss a brand new story, ladies and gentlemen. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer. Elsewhere, during his Meet the Press sit-down, Trump continued to make remarks tied to past comments he made about a third term as president. As Walker asked him if he was, quote, seriously considering a third term, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution, unquote, Trump responded, quote, so many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that, but it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do, unquote. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, is he actually speaking the truth this time? He is correct that is something that is not allowed to do. If that's the case, then why the hell did he unveil a Trump MAGA 2028 hat? Ridiculous, folks. Quote, I don't know if that's constitutional, that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat, unquote. He continued, quote, but this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular. I hate to break it to you, ladies and gentlemen, but Donald Trump's first 100 days in office have been completely crap. Have you guys not seen polling numbers? There's a video on the channel right now explaining his poll numbers. Continuing with the article. Welker reiterated to Trump that, quote, the Constitution does prohibit it, unquote, told the Republican that his allies, quote, are, quote, pretty serious about finding a way for him to run for a third term. Quote, that's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment. It's really a great compliment, unquote, he said in a response. That is because Trump, they are completely blindsided and brainwashed by your schemes that are blatantly and clearly and acknowledgeably unconstitutional and illegal. And they feed into your lies, and it's sad. Continuing with the article. As Welker further pushed to ask if, quote, anyone in an official capacity presented him, unquote, him with a plan for a third term. Trump said, quote, well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that. The Meet Press interview aired on the heels of Trump's viral sit-down with ABC News Moran, Multiple clips from that conversation made the rounds on the internet, including the president's bizarre explanation of the Declaration of Independence. Perhaps the most talked about moment, however, was when Trump insisted that an edited image of Kilmer Abrigo Garcia was the real thing. When asked about Kilmer, about Abrigo Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March, Trump referenced a photo of the Maryland father's tattoos. Abrigo Garcia's left hand features 4 tattoos on his knuckles, a marijuana leaf, a smiley face, and a cross, and a skull. In a photo that Trump previously shared to his own social media pages, graphics were added to explain that the symbols were perceived by the White House as code for MS-13, the violent international gang. The Trump administration has previously claimed that Abrigo Garcia was a member of MS-13, though he had no criminal record. During the interview with Moran, Trump suggested that the characters MS-13, MS-1 and 3 were part of Abrigo Garcia's real tattoo and not typed onto the image after the fact to explain alleged reference or alleged gang reference. Quote, he said he wasn't a member of a gang, and then they looked, and on his knuckles he had MS-13, unquote. Trump told Moran, who replied that there was a dispute over the meaning of the symbols tattooed on Abrigo Garcia. Quote, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way, but let's move on, unquote. The anchor said, but the president was insistent. Quote, wait a minute. Hey, Terry. I don't. Don't do that, Trump replied. Quote, he did not have the letter MS-13, Moran reiterated. Quote, that was photoshopped. Unquote, Trump replied in disbelief. Quote, Terry, you can't do that. They've given you the big break of a lifetime. You know you're doing the interview, unquote. Quote, I picked you because, frankly, I had never heard of you, but that's okay, unquote. The president continued, adding that, quote, I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed. Terry, do you want me to show you the picture? Unquote. Moran, who served as MS-13's, ABC News chief White House correspondent from 1999 to 2005, and is currently the network's senior national correspondent, replied to Trump that he had seen the photo of Abrigo Garcia's knuckles. Quote, "He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way," unquote, the reporter said, adding that, quote, "I'm not an expert on them." Quote, or no quote yet, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Trump, however, continued to insist, quote, no, he had MS-13, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because it's fake news. You do such a disservice. Why don't you just say, yes, he does? And go on to do something else, unquote. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's legal breaking reporting, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting, please firstly like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. Secondly, if you want to make sure you're always up to date and in the know-how on all the things legal breaking reporting-wise on the side of politics, please hit the bell icon and click the all notifications options. The bell icon is located directly next to the subscribe button on the right hand side below the screen here. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys also want to stay up to date on all the things legal breaking reporting wise on the side of politics, please follow me on my social medias that'll be linked down below. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, as well as TikTok. There, I will be posting when I have uploaded brand new legal breaking analysis videos to the channel. Fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the goal of 160 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 160 plus subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 160 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we achieve and reach the goal of 160 subscribers. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe. Please stay positive, even though I know it's hard to stay positive during these unfortunate induced darkness times caused by the illegal Trump administration and regime. And know that justice will eventually be corrected on the correct side of the law instead of the right side of the law. Despite Donald Trump and his illegal regime's unconstitutional executive actions, orders, and behaviors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe, and I look forward to talking to you in the next legal breaking reporting